All right. Can everybody see the screen okay where it says first slide? We all good? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. And if I pause during the meeting, it's because I'm letting someone in through the waiting room, so just bear with me. Welcome to Rotary, everybody. Let's see if I can play the bell sound as good as Rick does.
All right.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Rick just appeared. As soon as we rang the bell, Rick dropped in. How about that? Well, I'll thank myself for being greeter today. Let me turn the sound down. Chief Reno, I'm going to put you on the spot. Would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance today?
Sure. You ready?
Ready.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief. You did that so good. You should come back every week as a Rotarian and do that, because we normally just talk over one another, and it sounded really good today.
Well, good. I'm glad to help. Thank you.
Today's moment of reflection was offered by Rick Morris. I think he popped in the room. Rick, are you there?
I am here. I figured we lost another good one this past week in Hank Aaron, and just with everything in the world today, I think this is a great quote. My motto was always to keep swinging. Whether I was in a slump or feeling badly or having trouble off the field, the only thing to do was keep swinging.
Good pick. He was a childhood idol. I was a big baseball fan, and he was amongst my favorites. So good choice.
He was also a scout.
Was he an Eagle Scout?
I don't know if he's an Eagle Scout or not, but I know he was a scout as a child.
Awesome. Well, today's song was selected by our fan favorites, so everybody sing out loud. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y, is no competency. From north to south, from east to west, east across the coast, to west the land. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y, it's one strength and money. Where treasure lies are endless, where is one strength in family. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. So today's guests, we have two guests with us. We have the interim chief Stan Reno, and we have visiting Rotarian R. Beck. So welcome to Rotary today, everybody. A few club announcements that I wanted to go over before we get to Chief Reno. Is the first and foremost is the officer corps has now been selected. Now it's up for the club to actually vote on officers for the coming years. And on the screen, you'll see that the nominee for president-elect starting for president in July of 2021 is our very own Jerry Malumbi. To be president nominee, president the year after that is Faith Miller. The year after that is Cindy Buys. The year after that is Sharon Lawrenskis. And the secretary starting in July would be Rick Morris, and club treasurer would be Jim Grant. So I'll open the floor for any discussion on the nominees that are placed in front of you. Is there anybody that would like to discuss these names? Now is your time to speak up. Jerry, do you have a great big acceptance speech prepared? I guess not.
Looks like a great team to me.
Looks like a
Well,
good.
then I'll accept a motion to accept the slate of names as we got. Does anybody want to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Thank you. The motion passes. So welcome to the leadership circle.
Great.
Thank you for everybody for getting the nominations to the board, and this is our team moving forward. So thank you. Club announcements. Another one is I'd like to again thank Cindy Bice for coming up with the foundation donation challenge that has continued since her inception of this concept. So thank you for that, Cindy. Harvet is the one donating $100 in January. So if you're interested in being added to this list, please let our club president, Rick Morris, know. So who's going to be next? Club duty announcements. We've got, I put the doodle polls out in the chat box for the next 2 meetings. So if you have an opportunity to grab those off there, that'd be great. If not, I'll forward those out in emails at the end of the meeting. So moving forward, we're still at 59 completed projects in our 100 little things. Some of the stuff that's moving forward are the list of projects currently underway. We'll be probably doing a spring clean when we can dig ourselves out from the snow. Perhaps we should have sung Snow by like Bing Crosby today. Maybe we'll do that next week. But we're moving forward. Does anybody have any updates on 100 little things? Jerry, you're muted. I think you're trying to talk.
Yes, I have just a promotion on the Harvey Welch Fund. One of the things that we're trying to do here and we've set out to do is to create this fund to support a project. And today we're going to hear about a project under consideration from Chief Reno. But our goal is to, if we can have $100 per member in this fund to use for the purpose that we select. So I wanted to highlight this, especially since you just received a stimulus check recently. Some may not need to use that, and there may be one coming up. So I encourage people to just include that extra $100 when you send in your dues to Jim Grant and indicate that it's for the Harvey Welch Fund. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Any other comments on where we're at on our projects? Hearing none. The Carbondale Warming Center, the lunch today, just so you know, on this nice blizzard day, I would have thought chili would have been good, but she made ham and mac and cheese, steamed broccoli, a chopped salad, and it's a birthday cake. So I don't know who out there likes broccoli, steamed broccoli. Is there anybody? Oh man, I must be in the minority then. So, okay. Gail, do you have any updates on the Warming Center project that you would like to share?
I do. Carmelita shared some information with me in the past few weeks. What they've indicated they need are paper products, disposable paper products. And she's recently added to that list things like hot chocolate packets, disposable gloves, and particularly disposable bowls. They tend to go through a lot of those. And she gave me an update that since December 1 of 2019 through November 30 of 2020, the Warming Center has served 312 individuals for 8,628 nights stayed, serving 99 women, 211 men, and 2 non-binary. They've served 10 individuals under the age of 18, 77 individuals ages 18 to 29, 141 individuals ages 30 to 49, 75 individuals ages 50 to 69, and 8 individuals ages 70 and over. And that adds up to 31,924 meals that have been served. And she goes on to say, the Noon Rotary is a critical part in our support that allows us to continue serving those in crisis in our community. So thank you again to each of you who has contributed either individually or through our collective efforts through our COVID fund to help support the Warming Center's efforts. And as always, if anyone has products that you'd like to donate and need a way to have them delivered, just let me know, and I'm happy to pick them up at any time and make the delivery for you, or you can always go directly to the Warming Center yourself.
Thank you, Gail. Does anybody have any questions for Gail on that? Seeing none. In district news, one of the things that we've done at our club here recently is we launched a satellite club in Murfreesboro. Brooke Guthman is the chair of that club. Their first official meeting as a club is actually next Tuesday at noon. So when I send out the news, I will send out at the very, very bottom of that email a link to the satellite club if you would like to stop in and just say hello. They will be doing some visioning and just starting to organize their thought process around service projects as they are all fairly new to the Rotary concept. A couple other concepts that are in the works for our little area of the world is Johnston City, Illinois, which is north of Marion, is looking at relaunching launching a Rotary Club. They were originally chartered January 1, 1924, and they gave up their charter in 1979. And I spoke to a couple people in that town, and within 7 days, they have 11 people ready to bring a club back. So I'm working with that entity to bring back a chartered club. And also there is interest in Elkville to actually launch an Interact Club at the high school. So, even though that we all are in Zoom land in these Brady Bunch boxes, there's still a lot of people that want to gather in the way of Rotary. So if you know of people that want to participate, just bring them to the club, bring them to the meeting. We have a lot to offer. So is there any questions on those things? Hearing none. If you have any ideas for our district grant project, you're going to hear about one today. As Stan Reno will tell you about one of the projects that's going on. That's one of the projects under consideration. If you have any other ideas for our district grant project, please send those to the club president or send it to our committee chair, which is Jerry Malumbi. From Rotary International, the focus coming in July of 2021, the environment's being added to that. So we're going to continue to remind our Rotarians of, if you have a project in mind that is environmentally related, they can start being funded for grant projects starting next Rotary year. We're still talking about polio because polio has not gone away. As of this morning, this was the map on the polioeradication.org website. The red dots should be the ones that catch your eye. Those are the wild cases that exist in Pakistan and Afghanistan. So there are still cases that we still need to get into areas to put an end to polio forever. So we're going to continue talking about it until there's nothing left to talk about. And is there any good news from fellow Rotarians? It's time to speak up, unmute yourself, and tell us what's happening in your world. So I'll open the floor. Anybody have anything they want to share?
I'll go. First, I want to say thank you to all of the wonderful Rotarians I spoke with over the last couple of weeks, giving me some advice and different folks to reach out to regarding the presidency vacancies we had. And I'd also like to thank Jerry and Faith and Cindy and Sharon for agreeing to take on this role. I know I work in a volunteer organization and it's often hard to fill vacancies. But to have it lined up for the next couple of years is fantastic. So I want to say thank you to all of you for that. And I also want to say it's awesome that so many people have gotten vaccinated already in Jackson counties where it is. My daughter was able to have her first in-person Cub Scout meeting last night in months. So we haven't been able to do that for a while, and to get even just a couple kids together to do that last night was a great experience, and she was so thrilled when she got home that we were able to do something in person. So yeah, it was fun.
I've got some good news. Baseball season is going to start. They're going to offer tickets for sale. So I'm going to get to see the Cardinals in spring training, limited to about 1,500 per game. So hopefully I'll be able to get in. Second good news is that I finally got my appointment for COVID vaccine for my wife and me this morning on an early morning sign up. I'm going to hand them out at Publix grocery store or pharmacy.
Awesome. I think the bigger question, Gil, is it snowing in Florida?
I hope not. And it's about 80 degrees out here on the porch and it's pretty nice. So I don't think it would last long.
It's snowing pretty good here in Carbondale.
Really? Really?
Yep. Any
Well,
other good news? Sierra, have you built that snowman yet?
I'm looking. Maybe after the meetings. So my good news is this semester is my last full semester in school to complete my Bachelor of Arts in Communications. No, I did not go to SIU. I go to Indiana University. And so my last semester will be in the summer. I'll be done. So excited.
Well, congratulations. Any other good news to share?
Ella, good news. If you were not able to attend the United Nations Association meeting last Sunday night, you still have an opportunity to view it at the Carbondale Public Library site to listen. Our member Cindy Buys was moderator with a speaker from George Marshall University who was just phenomenal in talking about the International Criminal Court and the assault on the International Criminal Court. It is worth your listening to. I learned a lot. So Carbondale Public Library would be your source. It was a great program for those who were there. Thank you.
Thanks, Ella. I'll find the link and I'll email it out when we send out club notes at the end of the meeting. Anybody else got any news they'd like to share today? If not, I'll turn the floor over to our Sergeant at Arms, Gail White.
Well, in recognition of the good efforts that our new roster of officers, all fines against those individuals are waived today. And if any of you have made the news lately that I'm not aware of, please exercise your right to fine yourself. And thanks again for everybody's good works for our community otherwise.
Well, I'm going to stop my share and allow Chief Reno to start sharing his screen and help me welcome our guest speaker today, Interim Chief Stan Reno. Chief, are you ready?
I'm ready. Sorry, I was just get off mute. Thank you for having me today, everyone. I appreciate it and giving me the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about our youth police camp that we are planning and have been working on for quite some time that unfortunately was set back and deferred as a result of the restrictions with the pandemic. But to give you a little background on our youth camp, years ago in the late 90s and in the very early 2000s, our department did a camp we called PAC Camp, and it was police and children together. And it was a day camp during the summer that lasted a week long. And we would take kids down to Giant City, spend time with them, and do team building exercises and things. Well, unfortunately, in the early 2000s, we had a bunch of budget constraints, and we were unable to continue on with that camp. But it was something that we continued to talk about through the years, and something we wanted to reinstate and continue to do. And just we're never able to get all the appropriate resources to make that happen. Well, during the solar eclipse, a good colleague and friend of mine from the state police, he and I worked together for quite a long time during that time, as you can imagine, planning for the eclipse. And I knew that he was involved in a youth camp in the Metro East area through the state police. And we talked a lot about that. And so once we got through the eclipse and finished all of those big spectacular events associated with that, we began to have that conversation a little more seriously. And he proposed the idea, and we discussed about having a Team Illinois youth police camp here in Southern Illinois. He thought Carbondale would be a great place to do that, to emulate the model that they do in the Metro East area, and that we could pull our resources together and make it happen. So we began seriously having these conversations back in probably the spring of 2019, I think, is when we started having meetings and coming up with plans to raise funds and to start making everything happen. And we partnered with SIU Police Department and SIU itself as we started to figure out what were going to be the best locations, how we were going to do this. And this particular camp is not just a day camp, it's actually a week-long residential camp. So there was a number of things we had to take in consideration, as you can imagine. We had to figure out where we were going to house the kids and what the everyday curriculum is going to be, and working through all those things. But we were very fortunate that we were able to make some good partnerships with SIU, and we started with some great plans. Well, then unfortunately, of course, the pandemic hit, and our camp that was planned for last June of 2020 was canceled. But to tell you a little bit about what we had in mind and what we continue to have in mind moving forward, whenever we are given the opportunity to do it, is to establish an interpersonal relations between the youth of our area and law enforcement in order to create a better understanding of the problems and attitudes of both groups. So really, it's a community outreach effort specifically for Carbondale residents, but also giving opportunity for kids from the surrounding region too. It's to mentor, encourage, foster positive behavior in teenagers who are at risk to gangs, drugs, violence, and other societal pressures that we see all too often. Change the lives and attitudes because of our intense desire to see our youth succeed and prosper. And that's a main goal of us here at the Carbondale Police Department. Illinois State Police will partnership, as I stated, with us, the Carbondale Police, the SIU Police Department, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, and community members to start the first youth camp here in Carbondale. Students are a critical and often overlooked part of our community, and today's teenagers are actively involved in their communities and extremely capable in helping us solve problems, since they are so close to the action and have knowledge of what is happening in their community and schools. Many highly motivated, intelligent teens are in our schools who can help define problems and create solutions to issues which affect them. To better serve our youth, it is vital that we listen to their concerns and value their opinions, which again are all core values of what we want this camp to be. The Team Illinois Youth Police Camp is a highly structured, week-long residency program which addresses teenagers who are at risk to drugs, gangs, violence, and other societal pressures, as I said. The camp is based upon a military model of discipline and includes paramilitary drills, physical fitness exercises, classroom instruction on resisting substance abuse pressures, team building principles, and other life-enhancing skills. But the goal of all of this, while it may seem a little rigorous, is for success. So we're not designing this for any type of failure. It's certainly to encourage the kids and to see them progress and succeed. A collaborative partnership, the camp engages police officers, military personnel, social service agencies, and local businesses to make a difference in our youth's lives. The Youth Police Summer Camp participants are called cadets and are introduced to the philosophy of teamwork, commitment, and pride. They utilize friendly competition. We will utilize friendly competition and goal setting to learn a sense of accomplishment and esprit de corps. The week-long camp culminates with various recreational activities, individual award recognition, and a formal class graduation ceremony at the end, in which we have plans to invite a special speaker that will provide a motivational speech to the kids. The residency camp, we were planning on having 30 cadets. That's a little smaller than the camp they do in the Metro East, but we wanted to start small to make sure that we saw success. It's 13 to 17 years old is the teenagers that we invite. And there will be 8 cadet mentors, which are kids that attended a previous camp, and we've invited back to come back and be mentors for the cadets in the first camp we're having. Again, it's 7 days long, and the schedule includes things such as basic life skills, stress management, hygiene, taking responsibility, things of that nature. We explain what it is to be a police officer and what it is law enforcement is all about. So duties of an officer, to include state police officers, local police officers, sheriffs, deputies, and military. We explain and go through the different risks associated with the violence of guns, drugs, and gangs, and do specific presentations on each one of those types of things. A specific presentation on bullying and the effects of bullying and the importance of reporting it and things like that. We have a safety day that will include the fire department, a tactical response team. You may have seen the state police in media releases where they've used their golf cart with the intoxicated goggles, and they demonstrate what it is to drive intoxicated and texting and driving and things of that nature. Also inviting the Arch helicopter, which is the emergency medical services that's provided here in our region. The Department of Natural Resources, they invited them to bring their fishing trailer to explain some of the things we have here in Southern Illinois, right in our backyard for the kids to take advantage of. The State Police Motorcycle Unit, and K9 demonstrations from different departments. Also cover seatbelt and traffic safety demonstrations and presentations. Team building exercise, so at least one day of the camp will include going down to Touch of Nature, utilizing the facilities there and their staff that they have, and going through different courses and team building courses, and really bringing the group together in achieving a common goal. Also including a fishing derby with the Department of Natural Resources to give a lot of the kids an opportunity to do some fishing, if many of them have never had that chance. A day at the SIU Rec Center, again taking advantage of all the different activities and things they have at the rec center, doing more team building exercises and things at the rec center. And that's also a fallback plan in the event that we were unfortunate enough to have inclement weather and we couldn't be outside. We're also going to have a presentation, it's called Net Smart, and it's about social media, being responsible with social media and being safe on social media and internet safety. Physical training each morning and drill instruction each afternoon and evening, which again is just some basic physical fitness exercises and discussing the benefits of fitness and exercise for all the cadets. And then also including a day, or at least part of a day at the Student Center, rather, doing bowling, just an opportunity for the cadets to be together and enjoy some fun activities. So that's a general outline of what the camp is about and what we would be doing. I have a couple of videos I want to show you, and one's a news piece from St. Louis, which they covered the Metro East camp in 2019 when they last had their camp. So I'm not the best at this, but I practiced earlier, so hopefully I get this up here and you can see it. All right. We good? You see that?
Yes.
All right. apologize. I've somehow stopped the video there. Well, maybe that was it for that particular one. So that is a good demonstration or example of what the camp is about when they first get there. And that's a demonstration of the paramilitary type things that they'll be doing. But it may seem a little abrupt and tough in that particular video, but really what it's all about is really giving the kids a sense of discipline. And then so they initially start out, and it's establishing the disciplinary facet of it. And then as the week goes on, it's more about really building relationships with the children and making them understand, what it is to have responsibility, accountability, and really building them back up to give them self-esteem and courage. So this that wasn't actually that was a part of the video I was going to show. So let me try it again here and show this one if I can.
Can you get those documents on my desk by 4?
I apologize for the advertisement.
Great. I've never been one for waiting. And thanks to Excel Track, I never have to spend more time and money learning things I already knew. So I can earn my degree faster. I like faster.
Get ahead faster with Excel Track. Purdue University Global.
Some local teens are heading to boot camp for a week. Illinois State Police and the Illinois National Guard are hosting that camp. It is an intense experience with the goal of building up confidence and encouraging personal growth. News 4 photojournalist Chuck Delaney was there as the young recruits arrived for camp.
Come on, you get right now. Let's go.
The main objective here is the basic things you learn in preschool. Have good manners, self-respect, self-confidence, working well with others, handling adversity.
Look straight ahead. He said, look straight ahead. Don't you understand it? Look straight ahead means look forward. Look at the person back in the neck. Maybe that'll help you out. Look ahead, everybody. You just want attention. If you want attention, you'll get it. How much attention do you want? You want a little or a lot? Because I got more than enough.
A lot of yelling.
Hurry up. Grab all your gear. Let's go.
A lot of physical aspects of it, mental aspects of it, missing home, not being able to do what you want to do. It's more of what they want you to do.
Stop moving around. Because when we go to that campus, you're going to be wishing that you listen to my instructions.
I talked to most of the parents and guardians that call, interested in the camp and signing their child up for the camp. And I've heard a lot of the same stories, same scenarios that they're talking back, they're running with the wrong crowd. So they want to send them here for the 6 days and 6 nights so they can learn some discipline, respect, and structure.
Can you follow directions? Can you understand it? No, you can't rub your face. Can you rub your face? No, you cannot rub your face. Cannot.
I went to this camp for 3 years. I'm back as a volunteer. It's really different seeing the outside of it, what the troopers have to do in order to get this camp in business, and really appreciate it that they do that.
Everything here is about respect, structure, and discipline, and we hope that they apply that when they leave this camp.
Looks like it's going to be quite a week. Illinois State Police partner with other local law enforcement agencies and the Illinois National Guard.
So let me show you another video that's later on in the week that gives you a better idea of where that leads to. So you'll see that, after the first day of, the more in your face type of a experience really builds into, you saw that the police officers there and the end in that last video, they're actually out there with the kids and encouraging them and helping them with their, like he mentioned, self-esteem and really bringing them all together. So that's the goal of the camp, and the way that we are going to get candidates for the camp is that we're going to reach out to the different schools and also to putting information out to parents, and also getting I was surprised, but they said in the Metro East, they have so many candidates that want to come to the camp that they end up actually having to turn people away, or they try not to, but they end up usually having to cap it at 50 kids just because they can't handle many more than that. And he said actually after the first, I think they've been doing it for 6 or 7 years now, that just word of mouth from the kids to other kids that, you know, telling them how great it is and what a great experience they had with it has been one of the best things for their program. So they've never had a problem finding kids that are interested. And then also, like the trooper mentioned on there, one of the things is we contact the parents and let them know ahead of time before they bring their kids to the camp exactly what they can expect, you know, giving them all the programming that we're going to be doing, and so that everybody understands exactly what they're signing up for. So the one big part of this, of course, is the expense of all this. I mean, throughout the week, we provide uniforms for the cadets. We will provide the housing. We will provide the food. We'll provide basically anything that they need during that week. And then all the staffing and all for the camp counselors, you know, are all volunteers and police officers. So we accept all of that cost, of course, and that's based on people that we're able to provide to the camp. Excuse me. But when we're working with SIU, and they gave us, you know, of course, you know, just like anything else, they can't provide all those things for free. So they gave us prices for all those things, and we were looking at somewhere in the area of $20,000 to make the whole week happen. We've had some good donations already. We're on our way to achieving the goal of all our financial responsibilities for the week, but we're still working toward that. And unfortunately, again, last year made it tough because we're just not sure when we're going to be able to get the camp going. We're still focusing on maybe this summer, but it's too early to tell whether or not that's going to be allowed or not. So with that, if anybody has any questions or any comments or anything, I'd be happy to answer or respond.
I have a question.
Sure.
So I was just curious as to how the boot camp training is effective for young men of color specifically. I have a 5-year-old son, and so I was just thinking, like, you know, say if he was old enough to go to this training, how would that be effective for him relating to, you know, the current climate that our country is in with police brutality? Is that supposed to, I see the goals of the camp are supposed to bring the kids self-esteem and discipline and all of that, but how does the training affect young men of color and the relationship with police?
So the goal of the camp is to build relationships and really help our teens understand what the police department are all about, you know, the state police, local police, and that we're there really to help our communities and give them a better understanding of what we do and really put a face and a personality, and it's not just a uniform out there walking around, you know, so that they get to know us and know what we're all about. And so we can build those relationships with the teens. And, you know, that's one of the things that we see with this program too, is that they want to come back and they want to be those mentors for the kids in future camps. They want to, you know, work with the police and the other staff for the camp to help other kids. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, of course we want to do is explain our profession, encourage anybody that wants to work in law enforcement so that they understand more about that, and just really be there for them and help them through a week-long process of building them up and giving them information and giving them knowledge, and again, giving them self-confidence and helping them with any challenges they're facing in life. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Just barely. It's really hard to hear you.
Okay. Is it better now?
Just a little. If you speak up, I may be able to hear you. I turned my computer up also.
Oh, okay. The question that I have is, well, might be two. One, is there any follow-up after this week, so when they're not in camp, to keep the spirit going and some of the things necessary going, or some type of camaraderie, or just some type of group, follow-up group or anything? That's one. And the other is that, is there anything for the parents these kids, because, you know, I found out a lot of time. I used to be in a probation officer for adolescent, juvenile court probation officer in Chicago for a number of years, and was also a supervising probation officer. And we kind of found out that we couldn't fix one without doing something with the other. And so I was wondering just if there was anything, or if there was just a need for something else to be developed.
I totally agree. I think there is that need there, and this particular program is specific for the teenagers. So there's not a parent component built into this. But as far as your question about continuing on, you know, follow up and things with the cadets, what we do is we establish point people that are or officers that are people that can officers that can be reached out to later on. The points of contact is what I was trying to say. That will follow up with the kids throughout the year and reach out to them and talk with them and just see how they're doing, and then always make themselves available to the kids if they need anything.
It sounds great that they have support like that. Good.
I have a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
I'm curious, do police officers themselves go through that kind of boot camp training, or is that more of a military thing? And then my other one has to do also with racial issues, and that is sort of, do you think about when you're choosing the leaders of the camp, the sort of racial composition of those leaders as it relates to the racial composition of the kids who would be attending the camp? You know, do kids have role models that look like them, that sort of thing?
Absolutely. Diversity is one of our primary concerns here, not only from the officers that are involved, but also the cadets that are involved. We want a diverse group on both sides. We want obviously people that can relate to one another, but also that opportunity to learn about other people as well. So that's all taken into consideration. Your first question about what does police training look like? Yes, that is a version of what we would go through in our initial police training. And it's really designed the same in a lot of the same ways. It's all about, you know, discipline and, you know, following instructions and making sure that, you know, you're focused on what you're doing, and then bringing that all together into a team building type of an atmosphere. More what we're doing is going to be more focused on bringing the kids together and really building them up and building them together, bringing them together as a team. Whereas in actual police training, it's more about specifically, you know, the police skills. But this is more about life skills than it is police skills as the week goes on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chief,
yes.
I have a question about evaluation of your program.
Sure.
As you work on developing the program, are you working with someone perhaps in criminal justice or otherwise in some kind of research to be sure you're able to evaluate components of the program and the success or failure?
So really, we don't have a measurement tool for the whole program itself. It's really about following the kids. And what we're going to do is wherever the kids are going to school at is working with those school officials and letting them know that, you know, number one, making sure everybody knows that they had an opportunity to participate in the camp, and then following through with any maybe specific issues that that particular child might be dealing with. So if, you know, if they're having some at-home problems, that we can identify that and get some resources to help them, and following through with that with those different entities to make sure that they're getting what they need. They've seen a lot of that in these camps where they've figured out, like, you know, there's deeper issues here with this child that they need more resources for this, or they need more services for this. And then we've been able to identify what those are and provide those. But as far as an overall measurement tool of, you know, the success of the program, I don't know that that's really been implemented up to this point, at least.
Well, this community perhaps offers some unique opportunities with so many people doing research in the community that maybe if you were able to connect with someone who's particularly interested in it, you know, make it simple, but you wouldn't, and it wouldn't have to burden you down, that they are making sure your things can be evaluated so that you have something very good to build upon.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you for that suggestion.
Any other questions for Chief Reno?
Yeah, I had a question. How many boys are you looking at recruiting?
We're looking at 30 to start with, and we're trying, like I said, trying to keep our numbers a little smaller than what they do in the Metro East, just because we want to make sure that we figure out how to make this successful, and it's new for many people. We're going to be actually using people from that camp to come down, and they're going to assist us, but we're going to also have a whole bunch of people that are new to this camp. So we want to keep it manageable. We want it to be successful for the kids. So looking at about 30 to start with, and it's male and females.
Oh, and it's not just Carbondale kids?
It's not just Carbondale kids. We're going to focus on our primary selection of kids from Carbondale, but we are going to open it up to the broader region, to the county at the very least. There's working with the schools out in the outlying areas to see if they have any referrals that they would try to, they would like to see participate in the camp.
Mm-hmm. Well,
yes.
Yeah.
Harvette, did you have a question?
A comment. I would be interested in, and if you would like it, helping with looking at evaluation tools for your project.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm very interested. Okay.
Anyone else have anything? Chief, we'll transition back to me. Do you want to get a sneak preview of seeing the chief again on Thursday? Would you like to talk a little bit about your next event on Thursday that's on the screen?
Sure. So tomorrow night at Thursday evening at 5:30, newly elected State's Attorney Joe Cervantes and I will be part of a forum just to answer questions, and really designed for each of us to give us an opportunity to talk about what our individual departments are doing, some programs we're working on, our collaborations and what we're working on together, and then also to be open to accept questions from participants about anything that they may want to know about regarding the police department and the state's attorney's office, and what we're doing. Invite everyone to participate if you're available.
Great, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Next week, go ahead. Next week, these are our speakers moving into February. Next week on February 3rd, our speaker is Dr. Brown with SIU Studies. So if you can catch that next week, that'll be great. And in the interest of time, I'm going to pivot to Carl Flowers, who's going to lead us in the four-way test.
Good afternoon. If you would join me in the Rotary four-way test of the things that we think, say, and do. First,
is it the truth?
Second,
Is it
fair to all concerned?
Third, will it build
goodwill and better friendships?
And fourth,
will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. I am going to stop sharing so we can see everybody's lovely face, and I hope everybody has a great day playing in the snow. Let's see who can bake if you make a big snowman, Sierra, you got to take a picture of it for next week. Okay? Enjoy the week, everybody, and have a safe week. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Thanks for